Oh, it's a glorious day, and you're here with Two Guys and a Dog, with a Two Guys and a Dog live special at the Mall Bowling Club for the Henslite Vic Open. It's Damo here, and Tuneman was a little bit overexcited with the Henslite, with all the action happening at the Henslite Vic Open, so Tommy's calmed him down, taking a breather. Fortunately, Ralph has stepped in to anchor from the studio, so listeners, give a big shout out to Ralph. Yay! So we are live here at the Mall Bowling Club for the Henslite Vic Open, and while the action has been thick and fast out there, we're glad to say that the competition has been fair. There's been no allegations of match fixing or doping, and not a bowl has been thrown in anger. And I have the great pleasure of being here with Ian Wilson, who is on the board of the directors at the Mall Bowling Club. Welcome, Ian.
Thanks, Damo.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I understand from as we were talking previously, you went to a lot of work to bring this here. Take us back to you might remember there was a famous car from 1985. There was a DeLorean. Doc Brown invented it. When you hit 88 miles an hour, you could travel back through time. Do you remember that car?
Yes, I do, yes.
Do you want to jump in that? Let's hit 88 miles an hour and just go back a few months to the start of this. Tell us about how you brought the Vic Open here.
Well, I think it was around about either September, October last year, just prior to the Vic Open being held in Shepparton. We were approached by Traralgon Bowls Club to discuss the possibility of us possibly holding the event because Shepparton no longer wanted to run the event. So over a series of months and weeks, we ended up making an offer to Bowls Vic, and they accepted our offer. So between Moore Bowling Club, Traralgon Bowling Club, Latrobe City and Henslite themselves, we actually put in the hosting fee to actually host the event.
That's awesome. It sounds like a group team event where you saw an opportunity, being Gippslanders, you just went, yeah, let's go for it. Is that about right?
Oh, absolutely. And I know Bowls Vic always like to have the Vic Open in a regional environment. Yeah. And we down here have the perfect situation. With Traralgon has its indoor and its 3 outdoor rinks, and we have 2 undercover rinks here. So it was actually a perfect opportunity. Plus, we ended up getting probably around about 18 or 19 of the other local clubs involved in actually hosting different segments of the event, which is actually a good financial or good source of finance for those guys as well.
That's awesome. Is it difficult? Did you find it difficult to get everyone to rally to the cause, or is it?
No. James Whitehead from Bowls Vic came down late last year, and we had a meeting with all the clubs from the area, and everyone seemed to get a very positive reaction to his vision, and it's actually all coming to fruition.
Yeah, because that seems I grew up in Yallourn North, and I always remember everyone pulled together. We all supported each other. Was that again that same sort of feeling?
Yeah, it is. Yes. So there was a few hesitations or a few fears from some of the smaller clubs, but I think they've all been overcome, and I think everyone that's been involved has actually found they've actually enjoyed it. And Bowls Vic have actually said that even some of the smaller clubs are participating and following what they need to be done pretty well.
Yeah, because it's one of those things when you've got an event like this where you've got so many people, because I was told there's 1,800 people involved, which translates when you've got the triples and things like that, it's about 1,100 entries. So that's pretty massive.
It is huge. It is really huge. So we actually started on last Friday. So last Friday we had the sectional play for the triples. Yep. Then on the Saturday we had the knockout for the triples. Then it went to the pairs, and then the pairs knockout. And today we've got the ladies singles.
Ladies singles?
Sectional play.
Wow.
So basically in a section there's like 3 players in a section. They all play each other once. Then the one who wins the most points goes on to the knockout stage.
That's awesome. And from what I've seen from the Vic Open, you've got such a diversity of players as well. You've got people who are young, and you've got older people playing together. And then there's people that, I understand there's someone who's only played bowls 5 times, and they're ventured in playing with some more experienced players. Is that the case?
That is the case, and that's the thing I found that actually attracted me to bowls, is for me, it's the social aspect of bowls that I enjoy the most, and it's the competition. So you go out and you might go and play Matt Flapper, who's plays for Australia. You're going to get hammered, but you go out there with the best intention and you do the best you can, and it's the battle, it's the tactics of trying to work out what's going on that I find really good. Plus, it is a very social game.
Yeah, I find that camaraderie really good, because I used to play bowls when I was younger against my dad. My dad, for those listeners out there, this is Damo, and my dad's Johnny Washer. He's the guy that rings in every morning. to give the rain report until which surprised me because he actually wakes up. I stayed at his house last night. He wakes up, does the rain report, and then this morning he went back to bed and then got up again. It's like that. Do you find that the people playing have that kind of determination, that commitment to doing well?
Well, I think it is, and you'll find that even like especially the top players, I suppose, because they're always competing against each other on the rink when they're bowling. They're adversaries, but afterwards they're mates. They all get on. They all support each other. They all watch each other if they've lost, they stay back and they watch the next guy play their match, and they wish the best for them that they would for themselves. So that's the one thing about bowls that I find very encouraging.
Well, that's what you want in competition, isn't it? You want to get out there and you want to fight to win within the rules and try your best, and then support each other to actually be their best, because that makes everybody better, doesn't it?
It really does. And I've been bowling since 2004, and I've been a bowler's umpire since 2007. So I've probably done the last maybe 8 Vic Opens up at Shepparton, and I always go to Bendigo for the state championships. And I find the umpires I meet there are here this week. The players that I've seen grow from being a junior, who are now playing as seniors, and I've actually seen them actually develop into extremely good players. And it's actually really entertaining bowls to watch.
So it's a real sense of community where we're all supporting each other, is that right?
Absolutely, I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And from that perspective as well, because I remember when I played bowls with my dad years ago, and when I was out there, it was not just, it wasn't just playing with my dad, I was playing with all the other people as well. So he'd send me off, maybe he wanted to get rid of me, but he'd send me off and I'd play with other people as well. And everyone was really supportive, and I found I had all these mentors of men helping me to become a man. Do you still find that exists within the bowling community?
I do. Well, I played pennant not last year, but the year before, and I found that I wasn't enjoying my bowls as much, so I asked to be demoted to Division 5, and they gave me 3 brand new bowlers, which I mentored, and we all had a great time. We really did. I'll give you an example. There was one day Bob was bowling, and he was probably getting within half a metre of the jack every bowl.
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't bowling very well. And I said, mate, you're fine. He goes, no. I said, mate, if you're not bowling well, I said, I'll tell you you're not bowling well. Well, probably about 3 hours later, he put down a wrong bias.
Yeah.
And I said, Bob, that wasn't a very good bowl. And all 4 of us started laughing. And I swear to God, it took about 15 minutes for us to calm down.
Yeah.
Because if I stopped laughing, they kept on going, which got me going. And they'd stop. But because I was going, they kept on going. But that's the side of bowls that, for me, is what I enjoy, is the team environment.
It sounds really, wonderful what you were talking about there. And I think that's really prevalent to pay attention to as well, is because, as you said, you weren't feeling as good about your bowls, so you decided to step down a little bit. And what you were doing there, it sounds like, is you were mentoring other people, so you were giving to them, which you were getting the give aside, right?
Absolutely.
And so do you want to expand a little bit on it?
Well, not so much that, but even like in this event here, we have a group of volunteers here at Morwell, and everyone is just doing what they need to do. There are no egos. There's no, I don't want to do that because it's a menial job. If it's like even like changing the paper in the toilet rolls, I've done that. Yeah. So it's just because I'm the event manager doesn't mean that I don't have to go and sweep the floors and do the menial tasks. But everybody has just put in so well.
Yeah, so
and our staff, like the paid staff, have just jumped on board with this whole thing too. So we've had like 5 days of just crazy busy.
That's amazing. And so everyone, you've really got that sense of, again, coming back to the sense of community, everyone wanting to contribute and coming together as a community. Do you find that's really more important today to have? Because today, we've got a lot of things that are online, the social media, people. It's ironic that we have social media and more connected to people around the world, but people feel more lonely than ever in history. Do you think the bowls creates that community that you're talking about?
Well, bowls does create. Well, the bowls is a little community in its own.
Yeah.
And probably, yesterday it rained and Traralgon had some of its outdoor greens washed out.
Yeah.
Well, they brought their players over here in the morning because we didn't have any in the morning.
Yeah.
But they sent some of their organisers over, and they helped us run the day. So there was no competition between Traralgon and Morwell.
Yeah.
We're here as one group to make Bowls Vic and the Victorian Open is as good and a successful event as what we can do.
Beautiful. Well, we better cut to some music for our listeners. Can you hang around for a little bit and continue after we have a bit of a song break?
Maybe not. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Sorry. Just kidding.
Wonderful. We'll cut to some music now and we'll be back shortly.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do. How can I ever change things that I feel? If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way. Go your own way. Tell me why everything turned around. Packing up, jacking up, so you wanna do. If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. Open up, everything's waiting for you. You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. Another lonely day. You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day.
Hello, we're back here at the Henslite Vic Open at the Morwell Bowling Club. It's Damo here from Two Guys and a Dog, and I've got Ian Wilson, one of the directors of the Morwell Bowling Club here, and we're talking about the history of bowls and well, not history of bowls, history of bowling here and history of our bowling, because I'm remembering about playing with my dad, and you were talking before about when you started bowling. So I do want to jump back in that Wayback Machine, the DeLorean. Yep. When did you start bowling? How old were you when you played?
Well, I didn't start bowling until I was probably like 55, 56. So I was a bit of a late starter. I always played golf, but I broke my hand, which meant I couldn't play. And a mate of mine, John Osborne, who's also a director here, he said to me, come and try bowls. Yeah. I'm only 55, mate, so I'm not old enough to play bowls. But I really enjoyed it. And then I played on one Monday night, and he said I could borrow his bowls. Yeah. And not to rush anything because he knew I was impetuous. Yeah. Well, Tuesday morning I went down to Melbourne, down to one of the bowl shops. I bought the bowls, bought the bag, bought the shoes, bought the clothes. Spent about $1,200 buying bowl stuff. Yeah. And I've just been hooked ever since. But for me, I found it's a game that it's easy to play, to understand how the bowl, but it's very difficult to be good. To do the same line and weight every shot is not so good, not so easy, and I'm not that good. So I would get probably 3 out of 10, whereas some of the Division 1 players would be getting like 9 out of 10.
I can relate to that because I used to play golf as well, and golf is known as that whack 4-letter word. Right?
Yes, yes.
And then you get that one good shot that makes you want to come back again.
Yes.
But like you said, bowls is not. It's simple to understand, but it is really difficult.
It is a very technical game. And I find it's like, to me it was like golf. You'd have a terrible day, you're not doing very well, and you'll get that one bowl where you get a resting touch and you think, damn, I've got to come back and do this again. So in that side of it, it's good.
So from that perspective where you have that, because, I mean, it's simple to understand the rules, but to play it as well, it's not, when you look at it, it's not just throwing a ball down across the rink.
No,
there's a bit of rhythm to it.
There's definitely technique. But for me, I like bowls for the fact that you can actually play bowls at a variety of levels. So I can go out on a Saturday and try really, really hard, concentrate, focus to play the best I can on a Saturday, or I can just go grab a box of bowls with you, go out now, and just roll the bowls up and down, have a bit of a chat, maybe have a drink when we're on the bank, and just enjoy the company of someone else having a bowl and having a chat. So for me, that aspect of it is very, very good.
Is there something that you do when you're playing? You mentioned you go out there and you're playing a bit more serious. Is there a way to focus with bowls to get that little bit more edge, to get more in focus? Is there a rhythm you go through, a technique?
Well, I find I have a routine, so I don't like to pick my bowl up until it's my turn.
Yep.
And I might kick the bowl with my foot when I get in ready.
Yeah.
Then I'll pick it up and I'll step on from the back of the mat into the line or the direction I want to bowl.
Yep.
And sometimes you might have that focus, you don't hear anything. But other times I'll hear someone or I'll see someone move. I've got to stop. I've got to go back. I've got to put the ball on the ground. I've got to kick it. I've got to pick it up, and I've got to go back on again. So once I'm in the zone or fully focused, you don't really hear any distractions. But for me, the key is to have a routine and just follow your routine.
That's what I wanted to understand, because like a tennis player, they go through a routine to get into focus. Bowling is an athlete's sport. You have to go through that rhythm to play well. Is that correct?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've seen Nadal when he bounces the ball like 30 times. I don't kick the ball 30 times. I only kick it once, but that is part of my routine.
Do you ever kick it too hard and hurt the toes?
No, but I like to sort my drink bottles in line, like Nadal. No, just kidding. No, just kidding.
Oh, I can relate to that. I'm a little bit anally retentive in how I do things. My friends make fun of me because of that, but it's one of those things. You've got to have a way of doing things.
Oh, absolutely. And I always tell people I'm not superstitious, but I won't go under a ladder. I won't let a black cat cross my path.
Yeah.
And if I go into a room or into a building, I have to leave from the same door. I can't go out in one door. Like I go see my mother-in-law, I can't go in the front and out the back. I've got to go in the back and out the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I'm not superstitious.
No, of course. So from that perspective as well, my side of things when I was playing, having that connection with my dad was really important. I think it was really, for me, creating a bond that we have now. We get on exceptionally well now. Obviously, there's a part where I was a teenager and we didn't get along so well. But I think for me, it created a foundation, a relationship with my dad that has served us really well. There's a lot of talk now, especially about young men and boys being lost and not having a purpose in society. So I think from that perspective, being around such an environment with mentors, having these older mentors would be helpful to younger men.
Well, I think it would. And like I say, the part I like about Pennant is like, we have like 16 players in our team, so 4 teams of 4. And you'll be bowling, and you might not be bowling well, but you'll have one of the other rinks, or one of the members of your team from one of the other rinks will say, we'll give you encouragement, or you do a good shot, and you'll have 3 or 4 people from other rinks say, good shot, Ian. That support you get from the rest, that team building or team bonding aspect of bowls is something I find is good.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to explore that a little bit, because there are a lot of young men out there that are feeling lost. They're all alone, but if you've got that, that team where you've got, if you're having a bad day, you've got some people going, hey, pick it up, you'll be fine. That's really going to help that development. Don't you think?
Yeah, it possibly can. And like I say, when you're not playing well, they're there to support you, and when they're not playing well, you're there to support them. So it is a very supporting type environment. I'd say, except maybe if you play Division 1, they get really serious, but that's why I like Division 5.
It's a little bit more. Yeah,
it's a little bit more relaxed, yes.
Yeah, to enjoy that,
yes.
that connection.
Yeah.
But I think too, when I'm thinking about my history with playing bowls when I was younger as well, was again having so many different. As I mentioned before, I'd go off and so we'd actually go, and then I'd be not just playing with my dad, and even though I was very little, I would go off and I'd be signed up to part of one of the other teams and playing as a 4 or 3 with other gentlemen who were very, again, supportive. And I think that helped my development as well. Like, from your perspective, you mentioned earlier about those 3 players that you helped mentor as well.
Yep.
Is that common within the bowling community where the older people are helping the younger people develop?
It is common. It's not common that you would get what I did, where you have like 3 players and you would mentor them.
Yeah.
But the older players do generally try and encourage you. And for me, even we go and we'll play another team, another town.
Yeah.
All over the years, you bump into the same people year after year, and you get to a tournament or an event like this, and I've been walking around just running the day. There's people from like Trafalgar and Druin and Warragul all rocking up to watch the bowls, and they all say good day and you have a bit of a chat. So you do get a wide network of people that you know, and that would have probably a lot of experience. If you were looking to run an event, there's a vast number of people you could ask for advice on how it could be done better.
Yeah, that's really important to mention. I was having a discussion actually this morning with a psychologist who is an expert in Washington, and we were talking about how we've evolved. And it used to be, when we were nomadic, we would go around and there was a very strong community. Everyone sort of connected and helped each other because you needed to survive. And then as we started to get into the agricultural society, we stayed still, and then when we moved into the industrial revolution started to happen. People started doing things in an isolated way. We started looking after ourselves as opposed to working as a community. And now it seems that we're heading back to that realisation that working as a community is better for our well-being, our mental well-being, better for our health. And it seems like bowls is the place where that just happens innately because of the way it's structured. Is that what you're seeing in bowls?
Oh, I haven't seen that to that extent, but it is possible. But I know you develop networks in different ways. I'll give you an example. When I was, I used to actually work at TAFE. I used to teach like scaffolding and rigging, and we had to do a diploma of vocational education and training. Yeah. And everyone talked about like having a network. And I'm thinking, well, that's a bit artsy thing. But by the time I finished the course, it dawned on me that I actually had a very vast network. Yeah. Because even though I've been retired for probably 7 years nearly now, I still have these 2 girls I did a course with, sending me information on rigging and scaffolding, where I should look up to help my students, even though they know that I'm retired.
Well, that's what I thought when you were talking about the bowls, and it seems that it might be the same situation here, because when I look at what you're doing and what you've talked about, the bowling community is a very strong network of people. Like you said, you go to places, you travel around, you meet different people, and then when you go back, you've still got that relationship.
Absolutely, and you do. You go away to they go away to tournaments like this, and they bump into their friends. So it's you're very rarely are you going to be on your own. Yeah. There'll always be someone to get you into a conversation or into a group, so you won't be by yourself.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Well, we probably should cut to some more music. Thank you, Ian, for being on the show. It's been
pleasure
a pleasure having you.
Yeah.
And lovely having a chat, and hopefully we can have another chat again in the future.
No worries. Look forward to it. Thanks, Damo. See ya.
Thank you.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I sat on the roof and kicked out the moss. Well, a few of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross, but the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do, you see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is the song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world.
If you like Irish music of all sorts, come join me, Gwen, with Irish Heartbeat each and every Tuesday at 1, right here on Gippsland FM 104.7, your community connection.
The emerald of the sea.
For the best mix of music from the 60s to the 90s, check out The Mac Attack.
Who's gonna drive you home?
The Mac Attack.
Alan McKenzie in the driver's seat with you.
Clowns to the left of me.
The Mac Attack.
3 p.m. Thursdays.
Great insights to the music and variety as good as chocolate.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
The Mac Attack, 3 p.m. Thursdays on 104.7 Gippsland FM.
The Morwell Bowling Club in Hazelwood Road is one of Gippsland's great venues for entertainment, recreation and relaxation. With a fantastic environment recently modernised for all the family, along with function rooms and a great bistro, the Morwell Bowling Club is the place to be. The Morwell Bowling Club, 52 Hazelwood Road, opens 7 days. Phone 5134 3449. Our community, your club. The Morwell Bowling Club, assisting many local community groups and sponsoring Gippsland FM.
Has listening to us raised any concerns about your or somebody else's mental health? If so, there is support available. Free call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Or you can head to their website and chat to one of their trained professionals. That's lifeline.org.au. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Lifeline is there to help.
You're on Gippsland FM. Now back to Damien at the Moore Bowling Club.
G'day, it's Damo here from Two Guys and a Dog at the Moore Bowling Club, and I've got the big brass here with me. We've got the chairman, Jeff Sawyer, and the vice chairman, Daryl White. Daryl White. Pleasure to have you on the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. Now, this is a pretty massive event here to have, and it's a bit of a, to get it into the valley was a big undertaking. Talk us through that. How much of a challenge was it to bring the event here?
It was a big challenge, Damien, because it used to be up at Shepparton, and it was up at Shepparton for so many years, and then we decided, well, we would put in with Traralgon Bowls Club, also Latrobe City and Henslite, that we would put in a total amount of $100,000 to have the prize money. It is. Shepparton was only around about the 70,000 or something it was for Shepparton. But the 100,000 attracted people, and we've got it here for the next 4 years.
Wow. Is it 5 years including this year?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So, Daryl, from your perspective, you want to take us back into the Wayback Machine, that Doc Brown DeLorean time machine we did 88 miles an hour. What's your involvement with bowls? When did you start?
Well, for me, directly involved about year 2000, and that's when I sort of got involved, and coming from tennis background, and anyway, yeah. So, but my mum and dad were both members here as well, and my mother in particular was a very good bowler and been a club champion here in the past, and so it was sort of and my wife and friends of ours, the wife she was very good friends with Diane, my wife, and they'd already commenced to be their bowling career here, and so the two boys got how it goes, sort of encouraged or cajoled or whatever, that it's time to do it or else. That's right, to get involved, and so that's when I got involved, and so I suppose for me, I was starting to with the tennis. It was all the younger ones coming through, and this old codger still around. It was time to move on as well. But so from that point of view, it's been a great experience. And soon after I got here, I became involved. I got asked if I was interested in becoming involved with the board, and I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to get involved with the sport, it's been my criteria, if you like, that if you're going to be involved in the sport, you've got to give back to the sport, and that's been my approach all the way through, whether it's been tennis or footy, and so be it with bowls as well, and so it's been a great experience for me to be part of the evolution of this place through my participation in the board here, and it's come from having a couple of grass bowling greens to what you see here today, and what's coming as well with the big function centre that's close to completion, and so we're really trying to make a stand and really sort of enhance the profile of the town of Moore, because as you no doubt appreciate that Moore's really been hit and hammered, for a whole variety of ways through the closures of power stations and Hazelwood in particular, and but other things such as the APM wood products closing down. There's been a number of hits we've had to take, and we really do need some good news, and that's what this place provides, good news stories.
Yeah, it certainly does. When you look at this environment here, love the big cupboard. We're sitting right in the bowl. It's the bowler's lounge.
Yeah.
Between the two covered greens.
That's right.
They look amazing. And from that good news story, because Gippsland is such a wonderful place. There's so many stuff.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. I'm a born and bred farmer's son from Hazelwood Estate, and born at Moore a long time ago, and so So obviously the other aspect to aspect to my life journey has been involved as a Latrobe City Councillor for quite a while as well, and before that, and before that the Shire of Moore, and but that's okay. And so it's given me the experience to know how to be able to deal with the chairman of the board here, you see.
And talk about that with the development of the club and the positive vibes that come in. Because just, as we're here, you can hear, and people can hear in the background, there's so many people just enjoying themselves, having a great time. Is that one of the motivations to create this hub of happiness?
It is, very much so, because we've got bowlers here at the moment from America and also from Hong Kong, and also, and Scotland as well, yeah. So, well, we've got a variety of bowlers, and they're all doing a really good job. We saw a young fella out there before from Scotland. He won his pairs event, so he's a very good bowler. But getting back to the club itself with the bistro and the new convention centre that we've got, and the bowling greens, when we first started, all we had was just one bowling green, and then there was no roofs or anything like this, and then we started to progress a little bit more, and the roof went on number one green, and we progressed a bit more, and we put this building up here, which was the bowler's lounge, and progressed a little bit more, and we've done a little bit more work inside in the bistro itself. We've got the roof on number two green now, and in the last few months we've actually put in an ice creamery and a kids playground area.
Does it have to be just kids for the ice cream?
No. Well, it's surprising how many adults go up and get the ice cream, and we've even got adults coming in at as late as 9 o'clock at night getting ice cream. And we've also got a little toddler's room there that the little ones can go in and play. Mum can sit outside and have a cup of coffee, and the little ones are in there. They've got the TVs up there so that they can see what they're doing and hear them, and the doors are there. So it's quite a good area, and the atmosphere around here at the moment it's terrific, and the staff are great. We've got an excellent manager who is Tina Johnson. She's been our manager for the last 4 years, so she's doing a terrific job, and will continue to do that job. So she's progressing very well.
So it's wonderful because you talk about good news stories here in Moore and Gippsland itself. I think from that perspective, when you look at here, you wouldn't think that there was. You just think this is a wonderful place. And it is a wonderful place. When you look at Moore itself, you've got the botanical rose garden out there. You've got so many beautiful flowers, so many Immigration Park as well. It's just such a wonderful place to celebrate, and I love that you're bringing that all together. What are your plans? You've got the convention centre coming.
Yeah, well, hopefully about the middle of May that'll open. It'll have a seating capacity of 350 people, and it's got rooms and things in there we have a lot of carpet bowlers coming on a Wednesday night and sometimes during a Monday afternoon. There's rooms in there for that, and there's also the convention centre itself will host 350, and we've got bookings for it so far.
Wow, 350 people. That's a pretty
big area. Yeah, it is big. Yeah.
What sort of events have you got planned for that?
It's mainly, we've got events like Gippsland Sports Academy, where we are a sponsor for the swimming club at the Gippsland Sports Academy, and other events. There's football teams that we're sponsor for. We sponsor probably about 40 sporting clubs in Latrobe Valley, just about every football club in Latrobe Valley that we sponsor, and we've also got other clubs as well as that, the Croquet Club, swimming club, tennis club, the Moore East football, netball club, so baseball. So we've got a variety of clubs that we sponsor.
Do you get out there yourself and have a role as well?
Only when I open the season.
Only when you open the season? Is it one of those things that you can't be seen at the chairman?
No. I've never been a bowler. Probably won't be, but the only time I bowl is when I pass the greens over to our bowls committee, our president, Brian Kingsley, and then my wife, Shirley, she normally rolls the jack or rolls the bowl, and then we declare the bowl season open and just basically go from there.
And when does the bowl season start?
Well, it starts in October.
Till
The season, the pennant season. The pennant season is basically October through to March each year, but bowls happens here all the year round, and so we have weekly events as well on the first Wednesday triples, second Wednesday pairs, third Wednesday pairs, Friday singles. There's all and as I said, there's pennant for Saturdays and there's pennant on Tuesdays as well. So there's many opportunities to play bowls, and the beauty of this place is that no matter what the weather is, no matter what the weather is, the game's on here. You know what I mean? You're not affected by rain, not affected by the sun. You're guaranteed of being your match. If it's here, you're playing. And that's important. And just to build on what Jeffrey said in regard to the function centre, the sorts of events that we're talking about is, as Jeffrey did say, the Sports Academy Annual Awards Night.
Yep.
And but also where we see it that it's a real opportunity for a number of the debutante balls that that would otherwise, at the moment, a number of the secondary colleges have to split it over 3 or 4 nights to sort of get their debutante balls through. But we think that we've got an opportunity here to help them in that regard, and. And there's the annual presentation nights of all the different sporting clubs that are around the place. That presents an opportunity for them to be able to utilise this place into the future.
Yeah, definitely becoming a real hub for connection with your family. And what I wanted to do is talk to you, because I was talking to Ian Wilson before, and we were talking about mental health and connection with family, because I played bowls with my dad, getting that the wrong way around. And my dad, when I was little, and I was only, I think I was probably about 10, maybe 9 or 10 when I first started playing some bowls with him, but I found it was a great connection and helped my growth as a young boy into a man. And from that perspective, how do you feel the bowls itself helps families come together and connect with community?
Well, I think that there's a couple of things going on there, because at the one level, it's the families, like an example, I suppose my husband, well, I'm the husband and the wife plays, so, we're to that extent, we're participating, and we have our friends that are participating as well, so in that regard. But one of the things that this club has done, and we've established a junior bowls program as well, so working with the schools to bring them in here, part of each school term. There's one particular term that we have a coordinated approach to get the schools in here to have the opportunity to be exposed to the game, and so that it's something they can sort of have in their mindset as far as the longer term is concerned.
Yep.
And as you can probably notice, when you look around here today to see who's participating, the age range, is. Whereas in the old days, if you kind of call it that way, it was probably talking about the 50s to 70s.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's the 20s to 50s that really is sort of the age range of those who are participating, and it's probably even younger than that actually. So the game has changed in regard to the demographic of who's involved and participating, and I suppose the important thing about that is that it's providing an opportunity for people who have a talent in a particular way, that not necessarily can they play tennis or footy, but in terms of being able to have a skill to be able to play this game, this gives them that opportunity, and gives them a purpose in life, and it's not only about winning and losing, but it's about the social development as well, the personal development that goes with that I think this game offers.
Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about there. I mean, from your perspective as well, Jeff, dealing with the children, you've got these children programs that work, because there's a lot of that at the moment with the social media, where people have, they've got all this technology, and when I said we were talking about that before, where then they're connecting to people, but they're not connecting to people. Have you noticed with the children that are coming along and playing, from that schools program you're doing, that it creates more of a sense of connection about a community, about their development?
Yeah, it's really great to sit in the bistro and watch the little ones or the young people come in and bowl. It's really good to see the looks on their face, and and all of our people that are here with teaching the young ones, they're all got police checks, and everybody is authorised by the club to teach the little ones to bowl.
Yep.
There's no hassles with anybody that's bowling, but with the little ones here, it's really a great atmosphere and great to see the expressions on their face when you see them with the bowls in their hand.
Yeah. And so did they get excited about it, or is?
They do. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say to mum or dad or teacher or the little one next to them, "Look at this, look what I've done," and all that sort of thing. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that with my son. I've got a 14-year-old now, but going back a few years ago, we were playing a game together, and he had a really terrible session, and he was going to walk off. I said, "No, you get back in there and do it again, and you focus." And I gave him a bit of instructions, but you're going to do it again. I wouldn't let him go. And then he played the best game that he played ever. Do you find that helps inspire the kids as well to keep having that determination? Because sometimes we find that we might give up that little bit too soon, and we just push that little bit further. Do you find that helps having
with our people that we've got as teachers or as not as trainers but instructors? They're very placid, and they put up with a lot, and they try and encourage the little ones as much as they can. And it works out pretty well that the instructors are very happy with the way that they go. We've never seen anybody kick the bowls or throw the bowls or throw tantrums or anything like that.
I think it'd hurt if you kicked the ball, wouldn't it?
They're all very good with what they do and how they perform.
Yeah.
And the teachers are very good. They're here with the kids, and we supply buses for the children to come to the club.
Wow.
And we supply the bus for them to go home again.
That's awesome. For them to know that there's people out there that care about them as well. I mean, obviously their parents care about them, but or I hope most of their parents care, or all their parents care about them, but to know that there's other people out there, because that was something, again, I was talking about before when I was chatting with Ian, was when I played bowls with my dad, he would then send me off to play with other people. Maybe he got sick of me, but he would just send me off to play with other people. But to have that experience, that mentorship from other people, do you think we've lost a bit of that in society, and bowls is a way of bringing that back?
Not only bowls, but there are other things around society that are coming back, and there is a lot of what can I say? A lot of focus. Yeah, not actually focus, but emphasis on different things, the way people do things. And I'm just trying to think of another word that I can put in, but I just can't think of it at the moment. So I'll give you to Daryl for a second and have a chat to him.
Yep, no problem. Daryl, come back.
Yeah, so I think the other important thing to say, obviously, with this particular event that we're having here, it started last Friday and goes through to next Sunday, and the partnerships we've been able to create with Bowls Victoria and the Latrobe City Council and Destination Gippsland, and especially between Terrelgan Bowls Club and Moore Bowls Club, Bowling Club, in regard to the partnership that we've been able to create. And then the other aspect of it is all the other bowling clubs that have voluntarily wanted to join in to make their facilities available for early rounds of the tournament. To be able to be contested at their venues. And we're talking about from Stratford at one end to Longwarra in the other, and over to Mervyn North, thereabouts in the other direction.
Yep.
And and each of those clubs have been prepared to provide a quality experience for those who are visiting our region to be able to go away knowing that they've been welcomed, that they've had a good time, and that they've hopefully had some good bowls in the process as well, and we'll want to come back again, and that's really what it's all about, I think, and that we've created the structure, and it's about putting, as you mentioned before, Gippsland, on the map in regard to people knowing about the area and knowing not only about the bowls but the other features that, the special features that we have here in Gippsland.
Yeah, because I think from taking before you mentioned before about a good news story, because I think there has been, and there always has been great news. I mean, from my research into this area, I mean, we have some of the most fertile lands in Australia, not Victoria, but Australia, and there's so many other natural resources in the Gippsland area that it has. It goes from the coast to the mountains, and you've got everything in between. Right. It's such an amazing area, and I was wondering, did we get a little bit lost in? There was a couple of bad news stories, although they're big stories, but do you think we got a little bit lost from all the other stuff that's really, really good here?
Well, I don't know whether we got lost, or maybe those who are external to the region got lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that I think that within Gippsland, there's been I think Gippsland is ever what's the word, ever going through evolution as well. You know, like. I'm thinking about when I used to be involved with the Moore Footy Club, and we used to play in the Trow Valley Footy League, and it was very tribal in those days. Moore always had to beat Gerelga, and Moore always had to, knew that.
I was a North boy. I grew up here. I was a North boy.
That's right. You're Lord North. You used to go up to play tennis at your Lord North, and you knew you were in for a tough game up there. I can tell you.
Yeah.
But so we're very proud of our little communities.
Yeah.
And over time we've had to understand that if we want to really sort of put ourselves on the map, we've got to be able to speak with one voice out of this region, and in particular Trow Valley, but more broadly the Gippsland region, to say this is who we are, and we've got a lot to offer, and we've got to be proud in our own minds about what we do have here and how we have been able to provide quality life experiences for our families and those who want to come and join us.
Yeah. Do you think that happens, like the connections that you're creating? I'll come back to you, Jeff. You mentioned about the school children. This, as Daryl was saying, this quality of sense of pride in ourselves, in Gippsland, in the Trow Valley, in who we are. Do you think that's coming through with that mentorship with the children that you've got coming through as well? Or?
I think so. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. You can see it in everybody that you talk to that comes to the club. In particular, the little ones. Teenagers that come in the club, so you can see it every time somebody walks through the door. You can see that there is some positive feedback coming through.
Yeah, because I wonder about that with the law of attraction is what we focus on tends to manifest or expand in your life, and that's why I wondered, with those couple of, and there's significant news stories with the power station and transition of energy and the paper mill as well, and they are significant stories. But sometimes when we start to focus on that, we start in a little bit of a downward spiral. Is where if we add some new shift that focus like you're doing, we actually find new ways and new things, and we start to see things that are right in front of us that were always there, because we said it's one of the most fertile lands in Australia. Do you think that's starting to shift the other way now?
I think so. I think it is, because with the structure and the building that we've got here, it's going to put probably Maule on the map.
It's a beautiful building. It's amazing.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to bring a little bit of more community, more in the way of the community and the public to this place. And it's a pity about the other places that they've closed down and all that sort of thing, but that's something that we can't predict or look at. But we just basically look at the area that we're in, and it's going to work out pretty well.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure having you on Two Guys and Dog. You've got such a fantastic facility. Love what you've done. This first year has been amazing. I mean, I was here in the day one, and it was fabulous to see the vibe and the excitement here, and to see what again, people out there having fun, and everyone is just so kind, polite, helpful, thoughtful. I love what you're doing, and really excited to be part of it going forward as well.
Yeah. So if we've got any potential bowling members out there, please come in and register and make yourselves known to our team and sign up as a bowler or even as a member of the club itself. You'll find that there is a few benefits for members and also for bowling members. So if there's anybody there that's looking for a little bit of enjoyment in life, come in and to the Mall Bowling Club.
Is it as simple as that? Just walk in and say g'day?
Yep, it is.
Yeah. Do you have to say good day exactly? Or... Jeff and Daryl, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for that. And hopefully we can catch up again in the future. I'd love to have further chats with what you're doing here. Or Daryl's got a couple things said.
I just wanted to say, acknowledge the support of Gippsland FM being here through this event, and we're very keen as a club to be supportive of Gippsland FM because of the role it plays within the community, and so it's fantastic that you had the opportunity to come here and be live at the event to experience it and to be able to share that with the broader community.
I'm honoured to be here, to be supporting this event, because you guys have done so much work to bring it here, and it's just been a pleasure, and I feel so welcome, so thank you very much. I mean, I know I'm just one of the two guys and a dog, and the son of Johnny Washer, who does but thank you very much for...
Thank you for your time, and thank you, listeners.
All right, we'll come back to another song, or a couple of songs. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
National Radio News. Good afternoon, I'm Sophia McCaffin. The federal government's key climate bill has passed Parliament, forcing big polluters to cut emissions. The Safeguard Mechanism bill passed after Labor secured support from the Greens and 3 independents. It means from July, Australia's top 200 polluters will have to reduce their emissions by close to 5% each year to 2030. The coalition voted against the bill, claiming the measures will increase coal and gas prices. Minister for Climate Change and Energy Chris Bowen told Parliament the Safeguard ensures that the nation does its bit for the climate.
What the Parliament has done today is safeguard our climate, safeguard our economy and safeguard our future.
Aged care workers with no leave entitlements will be able to access new government payments to ensure they don't risk going to work while sick with COVID. Amanda Kopp reports from Canberra.
Health Minister Mark Butler says changes to the government's COVID response aim to protect vulnerable groups.
That if they contract COVID, there is no disincentive from them isolating and not going to work and potentially exposing residents to a virus that is very dangerous.
From April the 1st, people aged 60 to 69 with 1 risk factor rather than the previous requirement of 2 will have access to the antiviral treatment Paxlovid. The changes come as COVID infections have ticked up in the last 5 weeks and ahead of the government's advertising push to encourage people to get a COVID jab every 6 months. Amanda Kopp, National Radio News, Canberra.
Medicare cards will now be easier to access as changes to the card announced today. The federal government has announced a new digital version of the card is being added to the MyGov app. There will be an animated hologram on the digital card to show it is not a screenshot to prevent cybercrime. Government Services Minister Bill Shorten says there will be better protections against identity theft.
You won't need to give your valuable private data to different private organisations, and private organisations will be able to trust your government ID, and bang, you've got credentials and there's a lot less risk.
Around the country, the NT government will open expressions of interest for a voluntary buyback scheme for grocery store liquor licences as part of moves to curb alcohol violence. Once the licences are bought, they will not be sold on. The move is the latest in a series of measures that the NT government has implemented after the stabbing of 20-year-old Declan Laverty in a bottle shop earlier this month. Tasmania's Office for Racing Integrity is facing fresh scrutiny with claims in state parliament that possums with cut-off paws were being used as live bait in the greyhound industry. Independent MP Christy Johnson revealed the claims of animal abuse earlier today and says she has been contacted by more whistleblowers from the state's racing industry. It comes amid an independent inquiry into the office into claims of race fixing, unusual betting and animal abuse. In finance, the Australian share market has closed up today. The benchmark ASX 200 has gained 72 points to 7,122. The Australian dollar is buying 66 US cents and 54 British pence. Briefly in sport, Australian speed ace Anton De Pasquale has snared pole for the first of 4 supercar races in Melbourne. Just 0.07 of a second separated the top 4 drivers in the first qualifying session, with De Pasquale going quickest with a 1 minute and 47 seconds time.
National Radio News, produced by Charles Sturt University, the Community Radio Network, and supported by the Community Broadcasting Foundation.
For over 100 years, the Electrical Trades Union have proudly been supporting the rights of their workers. Now as the COVID-19 pandemic impacts our society, the ETU is delivering on its values of looking out for one another and respecting each other to protect our families and the future we've fought so hard to build. Gippsland FM share these values and are proudly sponsored by the ETU to connect our community to more than 30,000 listeners a week. The ETU, active, united and fighting for you.
Gippsland FM weather is proudly sponsored by the Moe Racing Club. Open for dinner 7 nights a week. Bookings are essential for the Turfside Bistro, so call the club on 5120 1333 to secure your table now.
For the weather, tomorrow, Friday the 31st, a maximum of 19, cloudy, high chance of showers, most likely in the morning and afternoon. For tomorrow, for Saturday, maximum of 17, cloudy, slight chance of shower and light winds. For Sunday, it will be a maximum of 21 and a chance of morning fog, mostly sunny, and some light winds. And you're listening to Blues on the Boil. You're actually listening to Gippsland FM 104.7. Let's go back to Moore Bowls Club and Damien.
Thanks, Ralph. It's a pleasure to have you here. And yes, it is Two Guys and a Dog here with a Henslite Vic Open special at the Morwell Bowlings Club. Bowlings. I'm practicing I'm going to make up some words and have them go into the dictionary. I was part of a Toastmasters club, and during one of my speeches, I started to refer to it as speeching rather than speaking. And then throughout that, later that evening, some other people started using the word speeching. And then we had some people come from the Toastmasters Authority, and they actually started using the word speeching. So hopefully one day I can get the word speeching in the dictionary. So if you ever see that in the future and you see the word speeching as a word in the dictionary, you'll know where that came from. But here, while we're talking a bit about bowls, I did a bit of work and a bit of study. And I'm not a fan of study. My dad can tell you that I went through a bit of a period during secondary school where I had no interest in doing study. I actually went through a pretty bad period where I went to class and I just sat there, which was pretty poor form on my behalf when I think back at that, but that was where I was at that point in time. But I picked up the study gene again, and I was doing a bit of research, and I found out that one of King Edward III, and this is going back to the 14th century, he had a problem with millennials back then. This is back in 1360, and he declared the problem with today's youth is that they spend too much time looking at greens and not enough time practicing archery. And maybe he could have blamed that permissive parenting on the 14th century parenting, but he needed to get those kids back out onto the lawn. So he actually passed a law saying that they weren't able to play bowls, which is an interesting fact. Well, I'm hoping it's a fact. I've researched it. It was on the internet, so maybe it has to be true, of course. And the other thing I found, the thing with bowls, is they didn't always have the bias. For those of you who playing bowls or seen bowls played, the bowls don't roll straight. They roll with a bit of bias on that. And that's not to say bowlers are biased. Some people have their juries out a bit on that as to whether they are biased or not biased. But what actually happened was back in 1522, this is how far back that goes. So we're going, 500 years ago, that Charles Brandon, the Duke of Suffolk, was in the middle of a game when another bowl struck his and he split open, and he had the choice of forfeiting it or coming up with some new bowls. And obviously it's not like we're at the Morwell Bowling Club and you've got this wonderful setup by Henslite there where you can just buy some new bowls with fantastic colours. So what he had to do was to come up with a new bowl. So rather than forfeit, he ran inside to the property, which was going through a renovation, and it wasn't even his home. He sawed off a spherical knob from the stairwell. You got the staircase and you have those knobs there. He sawed that off, and he beveled it down a little bit and made it into a bowl. But what he noticed is as he rolled it rolled in a bit of an arc, a bit of a bias to it. And then he realised that he could actually use that to his advantage, because if there was a bowl in front, using that arc could could get him around and closer to the jack. So there's a bit of history there for bowling. And, just to have a bit of an understanding of where the game came from. And from that, other people saw that bias and went, oh, okay, we can use that to our advantage too. And that's why bowls has the bias that it does. Anyway, that's a bit of history for you from the Mola Bowling Club at the Henslite Vic Open. We're going to cut back to some more music now. We've got U2 coming up. So Ralph will kick that in very shortly. We'll have some U2 playing. Take it away, Ralph.
Is it getting better? Or do you feel the same? Will it make it easier on you now? You got someone to blame. You say, one love, one life. When it's one need in the night. One love, we get to share it. Leaves you, baby, if you don't care for it. Did I disappoint you? Or leave a bad taste in your mouth? Like you never had love, and you want me to go without. Well, it's too late tonight to drag the past out into the light. We're one, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, Whoa.
back here at the Morwell Bowling Club. Yes, and we've got Nipper here. He's just Nipper's originally from Sydney,
Ingleburn, Sydney, yeah.
In Sydney, but you've moved down to Morwell not too long ago, only a couple of years ago. Is that right?
Yeah, about 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and from that perspective, you're also new to bowls as well.
I've only just started bowling probably 16, 18 months ago.
16, and you're playing in the Vic Open.
I'm playing in the Vic Open. I played in the singles today against the Brad Pavey, who's one of the Australian champions.
Really?
Yeah.
He beat me?
He beat me 21-10, but at least I got 10 shots off him.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's pretty impressive. You got 10 shots off him. That's half, or almost half the score.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I studied maths a little bit. I probably didn't pay as much attention as I should. So, why did you get into playing bowls?
I've played sport all my life, and once moving down to Victoria, I thought I need to play something.
Yeah.
And at my age of 63, I thought bowls looks good.
Yeah.
And I took up bowls, and I've been more than welcomed by the Morwell Bowling Club.
Yeah.
And they've looked after me. They've taught me.
Yeah.
They gave me coaching lessons and everything, and now I'm playing in the Victorian Open thanks to the Morwell Bowling Club.
Yeah. So, that sense of connection, is it? Did you feel like a bit of family here as well?
I actually do class this club and all the members here as family, because that's how good it is here.
Yeah, because, from your perspective, it's a big... You were living in Sydney, all your family and that were in Sydney. Sadly, you said your mum passed away, and that was part of the reason why you moved down here with your wife. Is that right? Or?
Correct, yeah, I did, yeah. My wife was born and bred in Morwell, and I met her in Ingleburn in Sydney.
Right.
And God bless her, the beautiful lady she is. I love her dearly. I married her.
Yeah.
And we've had a beautiful life together. We've been married 20 years next year.
Wow.
Married, and she decided once my mum passed away, she asked if we could move back to Morwell.
Yeah.
And I thought, the only thing I know about Morwell is Victoria and the Hume Highway. But my wife said, no, you'll find it good.
Yeah.
And since I've been here, I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd ever go back to Sydney now.
Yeah. What are some of the things you love about the Morwell? The Morwell Bowling Club is obviously top of the list. If we add some other things into that list, what do you like about the region?
The region, it's an open air area. Where I come from in Sydney, it was like a concrete jungle.
Yep.
In Ingleburn, it was just housing. And here you've got 55 minutes away from the beach.
Yep.
I'm 50 minutes away from the snowfields. I've got a full-time permanent job again.
Yep.
And the people are so friendly.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. Everybody is so friendly.
I've heard that, from that, and because I grew up in Yallourn North, and from my experience, everyone's sort of a sense of community. We all sort of support each other, and I've noticed that here at the Vic Open as well. Everyone contributes, everyone does a bit to help out. Is that what you've experienced as well?
Without a doubt. That's exactly right. You probably put it in better words than I could.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honoured by that. So from that side of things, when you get out there and playing bowls, was it difficult? Because bowls is simple. You're just rolling this ball down, and and there's people here throwing out. I haven't finished yet. Don't come on! We've got people about to stab me. I haven't finished yet. I said it's.
John, would you get the baseball bat again, please, mate?
Exactly. But that's what it looks like. You're just throwing this ball down now, but the reality is, with a bit of the bias there and the length and where the jack can be, it's much more complicated than that, isn't it?
It is extremely complicated.
Yeah.
And if anybody believes that lawn bowls is for old people and it's easy, they've got rocks in their head. Hang on, I'll change that to bricks in their head because there is no way. And we here at the Vic Open, we've got young ladies and young boys, 17 years old, and they're now progressed through to the knockout finals.
Wow.
That's how good they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17, and you wouldn't normally think about that as someone playing bowls, but 17-year-old, they're not even millennials. What are they? I don't even know what you call those people. They're Gen X, Gen Ys?
I'm not sure. Also, I call them as rotten little bludgers because they beat me.
So I take it you're a poor loser?
No. Not a poor loser. I'm a gracious loser if I've played well and they've beaten me fair and square.
Yeah. Do you find that in bowling that it is pretty fair and square?
Always, yep.
No one's throwing the bowl or the jack at anybody?
Not that I've come across yet.
Because I did read, I was doing a bit of research, and I actually read back in 2017, so not that long ago, there was a doping scandal in bowling, and I was just thinking about that with doping. What sort of athletic... I mean, maybe I was wondering, maybe it was one of those educational drugs that gives you a bit more focus that maybe someone was taking. But what do you think someone could take to have, because I couldn't find out what it was, but what do you think we could take to advance the bowls? Maybe we shouldn't go there. But
I don't know. We'd have to probably ask the new gentleman that's running for Australia that's just got let off.
Yeah.
Maybe ask him what he was on and see what the court said that he was on and he wasn't on. But no, I don't think there's any... beer.
Beer.
Beer, yes, more beer.
You're not allowed to take that on the green, though.
No drinks or food allowed on the greens, but you can still have it in between.
Exactly. And that creates that more, again, social environment that everyone contributes to.
Correct.
What did you find the hardest about learning to bowl?
The hardest learning to bowl was actually bowling the ball the correct weight.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much the bias, I would say. It was the correct weight, where the kitty ends up.
Yeah. So for the correct weight for the people not bowlers, that's the distance that the jack has gone. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, and it can be anything from 23 metres to, I'm not sure, John. What is the maximum distance? We're not 100%.
It's about that.
Yeah.
For the radio viewers, I'm holding my hands up. A certain distance apart.
It's probably
radio viewers.
It's quite a large distance. So kitty to end to end is the longest bowl you can bowl.
Yeah.
And the shortest end is 23 metres.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult. You've probably got another 21 metres. My apologies. And it's the shortest end, and the longest end is probably, I don't know. Looking at our greens now, it's quite a lot more than 21. So that's the hardest part I always found.
Yeah. And do you find it's a sense of community here where everyone gets together and supports each other?
Oh, my word, without a doubt. All the Pennants players here at Morwell, even our bowls coordinator, Sarah. Sarah is absolutely brilliant at her job, and she just gets us together and she organises things for us, and it keeps us as a family.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't do any better because of our CEO, Tina.
Yeah.
She looks after us without a doubt.
Yeah. And do you think from that perspective, and I've talked about this with a couple of the other guests from before, because today we've got a lot more technology out there, we've got all social media, and with all that connection, people actually feel more lonely than ever before. Do you think from that perspective, getting out and playing bowls is a way to actually, it's better to connect with people that way rather than just sitting there texting people on social media?
As I said, I'm 63. I turned 63 yesterday, actually.
Yeah. Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. And I have always said, even with my grandchildren and my children, get out, play sport. Do not sit inside and play on your computer because it will make you brain dead in the long run.
Yeah.
Get out, get the fresh air in, and outdoor sports is the best thing for any young person, middle-aged person or older person. Even walking, you've got to have sport.
Yeah. How far do you travel? Because, I mean, when you play bowls, you roll to one end, then you walk to the other end, and then you can walk back again. So you do get a fair bit of exercise there, don't you?
By the end of
it's
the day...
It's not like golf. You can't get a little cart and go across the other side, can you?
No. You are very tired by the end of playing 21 ends, yes.
Yeah. It's
so you walk 42 times up and down the greens.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone that's thinking about getting into bowls but hasn't actually started yet? What would you suggest?
I would suggest if you're in the area of Morwell, everybody is welcome here at Morwell. Come down and we'll treat you like family and we will show you, teach you, we will lend you bowls. Come down. It is a community club. It is a community sport, and we would love to see more people come down.
I love that, Ned. But thank you very much for being on Two Guys and a Dog. It's been so special having you here, and I love that you were, you were playing at Newborough today, were you?
Correct. I played at Newborough. Yes.
Yeah.
The only problem I've got with playing in the Victorian Open is on Tuesday I played at West Sale and played against a gentleman by the name of Matthew Flapper, which is one of our country's champions.
Yeah.
And he drove and split my bowl, so
there's
$900 down the drain.
Is there like insurance, or does he, out of that, does he because he takes the kudos of splitting a bowl, but he has to replace them, or how does that work?
No, because he's sponsored by Henslite, and I use aero bowls, and he said I don't like aero, so he destroyed my bowl.
So it's kind of this ego thing. I'm going to take out your bowls. Is that where you put that down to?
Very much so. He's put 2 big cracks in it and a big dent.
Fantastic. Well, Nipper, it's been such a pleasure having you on Two Guys and a Dog. Thank you for making the time, and I look forward to catching up with you again sometime down the track.
Great stuff. Thank you very much for having me.
Beautiful.
Bye.
And now we'll cut to some more music. Ralph, sorry, if you want to cut in with that, will be great.
It's getting near dawn when lights close the tired eyes. I'll soon be with you, my love. Give you my dawn surprise. I'll be with you, darling, soon. I'll be with you when the stars start falling. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love. I'm with you, my love, the light shining through on you. Yes, I'm with you, my love. It's the morning and just we two. I'll stay with you, darling, now. I'll stay with you till my seas are dried up. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love. I'm with you, my love, the light shining through on you. Yes, I'm with you, my love. It's the morning and just we two. I'll stay with you, darling, now. I'll stay with you till my seas are dried up. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love.
Wildlife Victoria is a non-profit emergency response service assisting wildlife in need across Victoria 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you encounter sick, injured or orphaned wildlife, call Wildlife Victoria on 03 8400 7300. Wildlife Victoria depends on public donations to run its emergency response service. Support Wildlife Victoria by making a donation to wildlifevictoria.org.au.
COVID-19 vaccination boosters have now been approved for everyone 18 years and older. A booster dose increases your protection against becoming very sick or dying from COVID-19. Boosters are available through your GP, pharmacist or other healthcare professional. Help keep yourself, loved ones and your community protected. Book your booster at australia.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
For all your blues music and news, be sure to tune in to Blues on the Boil with Ralph Koss, Saturdays 1pm, only on Gippsland FM 104.7.
Still announcement. Okay. Hello, and we're back here at the Morwell Bowling Club with a Two Guys and a Dog live special at the Henslite Vic Open. And today, now, we've got some very special guests. We're bringing in the big brass again, and we've got the Bowls Committee member, John, and we've also got the President, Brian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this is, again, a special event, and we've talked about this with a few people, but from your perspective, what was your take on bringing this event here? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Was it a challenge?
I'd say our club handled it very professionally. I think all the clubs in the area have done a great job in organising themselves to run this event. It's our first time we've had this event in this area, and so far everything's been going fantastically. And the little clubs have done well, and we just want to do a great job so we have this event for a lot of years in the future.
That's fantastic. And from your perspective, you've been the president for 3 years at Morwell, and what's that been like for people? Because what I understand with clubs as well, you encourage people to be part of the leadership team to help their development as well. From your experience, has that been very welcoming for you? And people been throwing things from the back of the class while you've been presidenting?
Oh, no, Damo, it's been fantastic, mate. I've got a great support crew behind me. I've got John here, and his wife, Pauline, is the vice president of the club. And all the committee members are so helpful. They're loyal to the club, and they want to make sure that everyone has a great experience at the club with bowls. We try to attract new members all the time, especially ladies. And all our mantra is we want everyone to have fun and enjoy bowls.
Yeah. So, John, from that perspective, and you can speak freely here, is what do you say? Is he a good president? Is he doing that?
Yeah. Yes, he is. Some people might think he's a bit loud sometimes, and my wife is always standing pretty close to him.
That's the job, though, isn't it? You've got to speak
hold him in the line a bit, but they're all doing a great job.
Yeah,
a really great job.
And you're on the Bowls Committee, is that right?
I am, yes.
Yeah, but you're also fairly new to bowls, is that true as well?
Yes, this is.
How do you do that? How do you jump from straight to starting new to straight into the Bowls Committee? Is that?
I felt that it was, if you're interested in anything whatsoever, from my point of view, not everyone, but from my point of view, you put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Love the club. Love the people that are in it. So I'll do whatever I can to make it as successful as possible.
Yeah. Is that love reciprocated? Do they love you back?
I hope so. Some do, some don't. Yeah.
So if they beat you, then they love you. If you beat them, then maybe not so much. Is that how that works?
That's pretty close to the point. Yeah, it's pretty close to the point. I think they beat me more than I beat them.
Yeah. So that's why they love you.
Probably. Yeah. Very nice.
Exactly. So from that perspective, when you start, because you said you've been playing bowls about 1.5 years, is that right?
No, 3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
Yeah.
And why did you get into bowls? What attracted you to it?
I'd worked all my life, retired, and without thinking, what do I do after retirement?
Mm.
And I was just sitting doing nothing.
Yeah.
And my next door neighbour was a member down here and a very good bowler.
Mm.
And he talked
my wife and I into coming down. And so we came down and had some coaching done by a chap called Rod Barlow.
Yep.
And he talked us into going into Twilight Bowls, which is held on Monday night.
So Twilight Bowls isn't like the end of your life bowls. It's
No.
It's
It's more of a social function that's held down here for basically for new bowlers.
Either that or it was Vampire Bowl, so I had to.
But that's only held during what they call the summer period. Yeah. Daylight savings period.
So definitely no vampires then.
No, definitely not. And it's held on a Monday night. We have a barbecue. We go out there and roll two games of 7 ends. That's how we got started in it. And from there we then went on to get involved in playing pennant. And, I never looked back. Very addictive game. Very frustrating game. Very. It's not a game where you just put your bowl down.
I saw you before when I mentioned about Janelle. You almost were going to stab me. So, Brian, from that perspective, with the way Moore Bowling Club operates, it sounds like John's experience is he came in and immediately he felt a connection and supported and obviously wanted to come back because he's still here and involved.
Yes.
Is that something the club deliberately sets out to create this environment of welcoming people in?
Yeah, we do, mate. We have the Monday nights has been a great success. We've picked up a lot of pennant bowls because that's our aim, to get pennant bowls to bowl for Tuesday or Saturday pennant. So the Monday night thing has been a massive success because they come in and they're just welcomed. Most of the ladies, they bake and they all have cakes and they all have a great chat. They come out and have a bowl and they have a barbecue for $8, I think it is. And then on the Tuesday morning, we're going to
coffee for $8 now. That's
amazing. No, that's right, mate. It's a great value, and it's all about the people coming in, trying to attract new people to the sport. So we're going to start doing the Tuesday thing. We have a Tuesday morning game where it's ladies only, because we realised a few years ago that we needed to attract more ladies to the sport. So we organised a thing on a Tuesday morning. It's ladies only. They come in, have a coffee. They can bake. They all have a chat. They go out and have a great game of bowls, enjoy each other's company, come back in, have a coffee and a cake, and they love it. And we've picked up so many people from the Monday and the Tuesday events. And that's just the club being proactive and realising where we need to attract new people. And obviously the next step would be try to attract a lot more younger people to the sport.
Well, on that, because from what I understand from your chairman, that you actually bring young children in and they have a bit of a role. Is that correct?
Yes, we do a schools program that'll be starting, and they come here from all over. We've had Phillip Island, Inverloch, all sorts of schools. They organise a competition here, and they all come along and have a great old time. And we've got a great bunch of volunteers that come along and look after all the school kids, and just in the aim to try and pick up younger people, and because a lot of parents don't like their kids playing footy or contact sports anymore, and this is a great venue and a sport, not just Maul, any bowling club, that the kids can come along and get out of the house, like Nipper said earlier, and involve themselves in outdoor activity and get out of the house. So
do you find that, from your experience, John, watching the kids play and things like that, because from bowls, from your perspective, it's a quieter sport in the sense of you have to be focused to play well. It's similar to if you're playing tennis, you've got to get focused before you hit that shot.
Yes.
Do you think, watching the kids play, because sometimes there's a lot out there of kids being a little bit hyperactive, and I know with my son, I actually sent him off to do karate to help him be still. And that was the main purpose of him doing that. Do you think bowls in itself would, or ask both of you, do you think bowls has that for children to be able to create that stillness, that focus, which would obviously help with their education, that kind of thing? Do you think that creates a foundation for that?
I believe it does, yes. Watching some of the younger generation here, the under 18s that I've seen bowling, they are so focused. They're a darn sight more focused than what I am, I believe. So yes,
they're underage. So they can't have one of that bit of that ale there.
Oh no, of course not. no.
That might affect the focus as adults have.
Perhaps the alcohol that's dulled their focusing ability, but it does encourage the kids to focus more on what they're doing.
Is it
and in reply, of course, it's got to also help them at school as well.
Yeah. Similar sort of thing.
Oh, for sure, Damo. It's the kids that I've seen bowling, they're just so focused and they're calm, and it is a sport where, especially singles, it's like tennis. The same thing in tennis. It's you versus your opposition. You're on your own. The focus has got to be through the roof because it's not an easy sport to play. You got to get your line and length right. And these guys, they are so good. To come down here and watch the bowls, they're so good. It's amazing, and to have a bowl, 100 mil, 200 mils from the jack every single bowl is just total utter focus. It's amazing from these young people.
And the other thing, with that, because I remember I played bowls with my dad when I was young, and I thought for me it was a great experience and I think it really helped my development into a man to be able to have those connections with my dad. From that perspective, do you find, and in the same token too, and I look at that, because I also played with other people that were older as well. So I didn't just play in the group with my dad. My dad sent me off with other, play a pair of fours or a pair of. I make up words. It's okay. Yeah. And but I used to play with some other men who became mentors as well, and they were very supportive. And you mentioned about that before, where you had young children playing singles. They're out there on their own, but to have that, knowing that they've got this support group behind them, do you think that's good for their development as well?
Oh, for sure. They come along and they play with their grandparents. They play with their dads, and it only builds family bonds. Look, I've seen so many kids. Yeah, they come along. They're playing with their dads. They're playing with their grandparents, and they love bowls to death, and they just take it on for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
and there's nothing better than that. It's awesome. We've had at our club, we've got 3 generations. We've had David Cook, Nathan Cook's his son, and Nathan Cook's son Ethan.
Yeah,
they played the triples together.
Wow.
At our club, and that's just amazing when you get something like that, and that can probably only happen in bowls. So,
well, that's what I was wondering about, and maybe you can get your take on that, John. Is that generational thing? Because bowls, you can play at a young age, you can play at an old age. It's also, if you're looking at gender equality as well, I mean, men can play against women equally. Yeah. I mean, it seems like a sport that encapsulates everything. Is that your understanding as well?
It certainly is, yeah. I really didn't know what to expect, of course, when I first started here, but when I did, and my wife's literally thrashing me. And
how did you handle that? Be honest. Be honest.
Okay, yeah. It was a bit hard to take, but then I thought, well, sitting back and thinking about it, I thought, well, really, this is one sport where it doesn't matter whether you're a male or a female. If you're good, you can beat anyone. Yeah. And you don't have to be a male. Probably about the only thing I think the male might have it over the female is if they're doing a drive.
Yeah.
They would have more power in their arms.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I reckon it's great.
But do you think from that point of view? It's from that gender equality perspective that's a good thing. When we're having that, where we're playing equally, to be able to go, hey, it is okay for a guy to get beaten by a girl in a fair competition.
For sure, yeah.
Do you think that's good for male development? Is what I'm getting at.
It certainly is, and I mean, if there's a male that can't take it, then they shouldn't be bowling.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. Because there's a lot of ladies here that would absolutely kill me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be game enough to go up against them.
Well, that's and what I'm getting at from that perspective as well. It seems like there's a lot of good role modelling out there within bowls for gender equality.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's like we have competitions at our club all the time, and it's males and females playing against each other all the time. And quite often the ladies towel the men up easily. Yeah. And obviously there's some men don't like that, but bad luck.
There's some men that, some people generally don't. I'm not a good loser. I'll honestly say that. I'm not a good loser. I will come back, and it doesn't matter who beats me, male or female. I will want to come back and come back. I won't have a tantrum in front of people, but I might go home and have one.
That's what I do, yes. But there's some fantastic lady bowlers out there. There really is, and they would beat the men every day of the week. And that, like you said, that is one thing about bowls. Bowls is an equal sport with male and females. There's no bonus to being a male in it at all. The women are great.
Yeah, and is there, when learning to play bowls, is there anything you should do in a way, in order to learn? Does it take a long time, or is there ways of picking it up quicker?
Most clubs, like we've got some really great coaches at this club. Most clubs in the area have their good coaches. So I would just suggest if there's new bowlers to any club out there, seek out who the coach is at the club, and basically just listen to what they've got to tell you. Because I know when I first started, I was getting advice from like 15, 16 different people, and all it did was confuse the hell out of me.
Yes,
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
And then you just seek out your coaches and listen to the coaches, what they've got to say, because they've got the knowledge and they'll steer you in the right direction. And it's just practice. Simple as that.
Yeah. And from your perspective, any tips for learning faster for the people?
There is no way of learning faster.
No?
No, definitely not. No one is going to go out there and pick it up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It takes time, and as Brian said, practice. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think from that perspective as well, when we're looking at younger people, even I will put myself in that category. It took me a long time to learn this discipline and focus to stay focused on something. Do you think that helps? Bowling helps develop that as well, because you've got to keep practice.
Yes. Yes, I would go along with the statement that you just made. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And if we're going to look at bowling as well and go, okay, let's. I mean, because from what I've seen, there's a bit of fun there as well. And Shed, thank you. We've got a lovely. No, thank you. We've just had someone bring some drinks here, and for the gentlemen talking, because they're we've got to.
Thanks, Chris.
So from that perspective, is it? Where was I going with that? When you've been out there, there's a bit of fun and camaraderie out there from what I've seen. What are some of the funniest things that you've seen out on the bowling green?
My pairs partner, Nipper, that you talked to earlier, we played on Tuesday, we played at West Sale. We played against two of the best bowlers in Victoria. They've won the Victorian Open a few times, Matty Flapper and Brad Pearce from Ocean Grove. And the very first end, my Nipper, he did two short bowls. And he come up the other end and I said, mate, are you in trouble? He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I've got shot. What do you think Matthew Flapper's going to do? And then, bang, he did the biggest drive you've ever seen in your life, hit Nipper's bowl and broke it.
Yeah.
So, next end, what does he do? They did a short end, and Nipper does two short ends again, two short bowls again, and I said, oh, my God, mate, this is not looking good. Bang, Matty Flapper, a million miles an hour, got his other bowl.
So he broke both of them?
He broke two of them.
He didn't let that on before we interviewed him. He said, he's down two bowls.
He lied, ladies and gentlemen. He's got two bowls are broken. So, and he's bought a new set of bowls today. So,
did he?
Yeah, he did. So.
Fantastic. Well, he was saying because they weren't Henslite, so he had to,
Yeah, well, actually, Matty Flapper did say to him, Nipper said to him, why are you hitting my bowls for, Matty? And he goes, because they're ugly. I don't like them. And then Nipper said to him, well, what happens when you break one? He goes, too bad, son. You need a new set of bowls.
So it's a bit of step up, is it?
Yeah, cool. So that was funny.
Yeah, definitely. John, yourself, have you had any funny experiences that you recall?
Well, probably the funniest thing I saw was Ryan, myself and my wife were playing in triples out at Yanar.
Yeah.
Very recently, actually.
Yeah.
And Ryan was skipping. He was down the far end of the green, and this one of the ladies from the opposition stood on the mat to bowl, and we were just. It was a fun day for a start, and we were. I couldn't tell you what was said now, but something was said, and my wife happened to open her mouth and say something which you wouldn't repeat. And the lady, just as the lady was putting her bowl down, and she just cracked up laughing as she put her bowl down, and just went everywhere. Ryan's down there thinking, what the hell's going on? So when my wife steps onto the mat, she's just about to put her bowl down, and they get stuck into her, and her bowl went bloody haywire as well. And poor old Brian's thinking, what the hell are they up to down the other end? It was a bit of a laugh, a good laugh.
We have plenty of funny moments. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
So
that's right. And John, I want to touch on that point where you're talking about your wife playing bowls as well, and you play bowls. Now, do you play together?
No.
That was quick.
Yeah, I know, that was quick. I was going to ask, because I wanted to go to the thing of where men don't take instruction, and I was wondering if you played. Obviously, I can't go there now.
I've got to tell you another funny one, Damo. Okay. Before we get going, we had an event a couple of months ago. It was the chairman's mixed pairs. Yep. So there was men and ladies coming from everywhere, all over the place. And one of the first things I said to the guys, welcome to our club. I hope you have fun today. And we've got a marriage counsellor. I said, how many married couples here? And there was about 10 of them put their hands up. And I said, we've got a marriage counsellor coming here at 10 o'clock to sort out any problems. So the husbands and wives don't generally like to play together.
I wanted to go there and see whether maybe it opened up conversation, but then it could be a reason for divorce as well. But
I'm probably a little bit too critical because my wife is a better bowler than I am.
Yeah.
And I don't mind admitting that in the slightest. She'll outbowl me every day of the week. And if I'm bowling with her and she doesn't put a good bowl down, I'll open my mouth and say, what the heck's wrong? What are you doing wrong?
And so you'll be on the couch.
And that's the end of it. So better off not to bowl with my wife.
Yeah.
And she bowls with other fellas in when it's mixed, and I don't mind in the slightest.
Very smart,
and I'll encourage her to do that. Yeah. But sometimes, of course, I miss out because I've got no one to partner in these things. So
you can't do the couples.
But you're still married.
Oh yeah, we're still married and still love each other. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Well, I mean, but that's what it is about as well. You're having that relationship where you're able to communicate with each other. You know what works, know what doesn't. But sounds like you're very supportive of your wife. And
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you still get dinner cooked at night sometimes as well.
Well, sometimes I have to do it. But
I know that will upset some people that I've said that. But anyway, it's one of those things because with bowls as well, it's an environment where you can be really supportive of each other. Everyone can be really supportive of each other. And from the Mulwell Bowling Club perspective, I mean, is that, we talked about it before, but is it really something that's more, is it about the competition or is it about the connection? What is it that the Mulwell Bowling Club really wants to create here for the community?
Oh, look, we just want everyone to have fun and enjoy themselves. And we just want to make the sport of bowls big. We want Mulwell Bowling Club to be big because we've got the facilities here to be big, and we really do need more bowls. Most bowls clubs need more bowls, but it's all about having fun, enjoying competition, because we have that many competitions here, as all bowls clubs do.
Yeah.
But the main focus is enjoy your bowls, and I've always found that if you can accept defeat and be a gracious loser, you will be a good bowler.
Can you give me some advice as to how to accept defeat?
Grit your teeth. Go home and bash a pillow.
Grin them.
Yell at a pillow. Is
that when you do a big drive when no one's looking? Just do a big drive?
Yeah, just go home, yell at a pillow and have a beer and relax. But no, bowls, as far as I'm concerned, we just want everyone to have fun and enjoy themselves and enjoy our club. Like, same with all clubs, they all enjoy their bowls. So, and we've got a great crew here, a bunch of guys at Mall, and we've got great support staff. And this week has been amazing with the volunteers that have been at this club helping, doing all the bar and the food and all that sort of stuff. It's just been fantastic, and they're the people you really appreciate at a club. And I'm sure every club in the area's got the same people doing the same things at their club. Like we were at West Sale on Tuesday, and those guys did an amazing job for a little club. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant what they did there. So,
do you find that with the Gippsland as a whole, it is this region of people that really love the region, that really love other people, that care about the community, and they want to contribute? Do you think that's the heart of Gippsland?
Oh, geez, that's a hard question. That really is.
Yeah, look, I think
I don't know how to answer that one.
Yeah, well, it's a leading question. Well, it's just your, each individual. Like, you can either love what you do or you hate what you do. Like, like 97% of the people at this club are fantastic and they really enjoy themselves and want to have a good time and all that sort of stuff. But you always have your naysayers and the people that cause a few problems and all that sort of stuff. But there's more good people than bad people. I'm sure that's the same saying in every club.
I think that's a valid point that you raised there. That the majority of times that there's so many great people out there, and sometimes we get distracted with a couple of squawks. And it attracts the attention, but really the heart of the community is one about caring and helping each other. Does that sum up the Mulwell Bowling Club?
I think it would. Yeah, it does. Pretty much.
Yeah, we've tried to. I suppose we've turned this place around in the last 5 or 6 years. We've really turned the venue and the club around to be a lot more friendly. We've introduced a lot of things. Like we have a presentation night here, and we've got it in a month's time, and we're getting 90 to 100 people to that, and that hasn't been happening for a lot of years, and we've got it back now. And we just, like the committee, we just want everyone to enjoy their bowls and have fun and want to be here. Simple. Yeah.
And how do people get involved here at the club? What do they need to do? Do we have to learn a secret handshake or anything like that?
Well, you have to buy the president a lot of beer. Yeah.
That goes a long way to
Yeah. But just come down. We've got reception. The girls at reception will steer you in the right direction. Most people know where the club rooms are, and we will normally have a board where we've got all the events on for the week and the year and all that sort of stuff, and obviously emails and websites and all that sort of thing. We've got Sarah Ashby, she's our new bowls coordinator, and she's doing a sensational job. So the best thing you do is ring the club and get Sarah Ashby's phone number. I haven't got it on me at the moment, but she'll steer you in the right direction and go from there. So the same as every club.
Awesome. Thank you. Brian and John, it's been such a pleasure having you on Two Guys and a Dog for the Henslite Vic Open live special. We're going to cut to another song now, but thank you very much for joining us.
Yes. Thanks, Damo.
Thank you.
People try to put us to down, talking about my generation, just because we get around. Talking about my generation, things they do look awful. Talking about my generation, I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation, this is my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation. Look at my generation, baby. Don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. This is my generation. This is my generation, baby. Try to put us to down, my generation, just because we could get around. My generation, things they do look awful cold. My generation, I hope I die before I get old. My generation, my generation, baby. My generation. My generation, my generation.